What's up, people? I'm going to post up this quick Q&A video. I asked if you guys had any questions a few weeks back, and it's been quite a little bit of time since I did the Q&A video, and so I'm going to run through some of the questions which I think will help many of you and give you my answer. So let's kick this one off. So this is from Instagram. We've got a question here from George Soup. It says, which is the most effective workout for fat loss? Free weights, HIIT, cardio, cross training. And what is the most effective nutritional style for losing weight? Thanks. So the most effective way of training for fat loss is, and you probably already guessed what my answer is going to be, it's going to be weight training. Now, how you choose to do your weight training is entirely up to you. If you prefer to do a full body workout, great. If you like to do upper body, lower body splits, cool. If you like to do single body parts in the workout, again, that's cool as well. Or if you like to go to CrossFit. So lifting weights is going to burn the most amount of calories if you're lifting with a moderate to high intensity. So that's lifting fairly heavy weights. The more stress and challenge your muscles are under, the more they're going to increase your heart rate. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories you burn, because your body requires more calories to maintain muscle. The style and the split that you do is highly dependent on the time that you can commit to training. So if you can only go 3 days a week, then it might make sense to do a full body split 3 days a week. If you could only go twice a week, again, full body split twice a week. You could do upper body, lower body, if you can only go twice a week or 3 times a week. But if you can go several times a week, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, then you might want to do a push day, a pull day, a lower body day, and then cycle it forward like that. The single body part splits are great if you like to train every day, or if you're a bodybuilder really trying to isolate a single body part, or if you're trying to bring up a specific area. Now, if your style of training is CrossFit, then again, this is a really good style of training for burning a shitload of calories, because you're working at really high outputs for fairly short to moderate periods of time, and you're shifting weight, you're shifting your body weight, and you're getting in tons of volume. So again, anything which is weight bearing, whether it is using weights or your body weight, it's going to burn a heck of a lot of calories, and more so than doing like a low intensity steady cardio, steady cycling. So the reason why we want to weight train and lift things up with resistance is because that's going to keep the most muscle when you're trying to strip body fat. And so when you are stripping body fat, one of the primary goals is to maintain the muscle you have. So you want to train with that same intensity that you trained to get there, to keep the muscle, if that makes sense. I also want to mention HIIT cardio. So HIIT cardio versus LISS. Now, there is a big debate about which one is better for you in the long run and burning fat and all that. Now, in my opinion, if you're strapped for time, then HIIT training, that's high intensity interval training, is your best friend. It's short, it's intense, it burns a lot of calories during the session, but the big benefit is that you can burn calories for up to 48 hours after workout, because it increases your metabolic rate. Your body becomes like a furnace. It burns calories throughout the day because your heart rate is elevated for a lot longer than when you do a low intensity steady state cardio. So a LISS session is, as it says, it's low intensity, it's steady. You're just moving at a constant pace, burning calories during that session. So you won't burn calories after the session, but you will preserve a lot of energy because it is fairly easy and you can sustain it for a long period of time. So the best thing to do is to mix up your cardio, do some HIIT sessions and do some LISS sessions, and it all depends on your time and your personal preference. But they are effective for helping you create that caloric deficit, which is going to help you burn fat in the long run. So going on to the next question, the most effective nutritional strategies to lose fat. Now, there are a ton of different ways that you can diet to lose fat. You can just create a caloric deficit, fairly easy. You can do intermittent fasting. You can do a ton of other different diets. high fat, you can do keto diets, you can do a high carb, low fat diet, you can do a really high protein diet, not that I would recommend it. And so it's about finding this diet that works for you. It's about experimenting with all these different protocols and finding the one that your body goes, yes, this one is for me. Now, I find that a balanced, healthy approach to dieting is pretty much the best thing for most of us, because it doesn't segregate, it doesn't eliminate food groups, doesn't label foods as good and bad. It just puts you in a caloric deficit, which is the number one thing that you need to do to burn fat. So creating a caloric deficit is the number one priority. How you do that from whichever nutritional strategy is entirely up to you, depending on your lifestyle, say your working pattern, how many hours you can commit to eating, training, the amount of hours you're up in the day, and your appetite, because I know a lot of people aren't very hungry in the morning, so they prefer to eat later in the day. Now, if you do like that, then you're kind of adopting a bit of an intermittent fasting approach, which is cool. But I know other people that wake up starving, and again, you want to eat, cool, you start your day off and then you hit your caloric numbers, your deficit for the end of the day, and you're going to burn fat. So picking a strategy which your body agrees with is important, but you have to experiment with it. And one of the really important things is you have to give it time. A lot of people expect results really quickly. They want to see the changes within a week or two, but sometimes it can take 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks for your body to actually adapt and make any changes. So give something a go, assess your progress, and give it time. Next question here from Miss Gabrielle White. She's one of my online clients. How do you find balance between tracking macros some days and eyeballing food when you go out? So this is a really, really good question, because I'm in a position where I'm not competing, I'm not trying to get to a specific goal body fat or goal weight. I'm in a good place with my body, I feel really good, and I want to get stronger, and yeah, I want to put on some muscle, but I'm not really anal with my nutrition. I'm not trying to hit numbers to a T. So 95% of the time, I am aiming to eat a caloric number for the day. Now, some might agree, some might disagree that this is the right way to do it, but this is what's working for me, and it might work for you. So I'll have a caloric number that I'm trying to hit for the day, and I'll make sure that I consume enough protein, which is normally about 1.2 grams per pound of my body weight, and then anything after that, fats and carbs, is cool. I'm trying to hit my caloric number for my goal of maintaining or gaining a little bit of lean muscle. Now with that, I've become a lot more flexible and I'm a lot more relaxed on the days that I go out. Now if I notice Saturday and I'm going out for a meal in the evening, I'll typically eat a little bit less during the day to compensate for the calories I'm going to eat in the evening. So breakfast might start off with an egg white omelette or a protein shake with some greens, so high protein, really low carbs, virtually zero fat. Lunchtime, again, it might be like tuna with lots of veggies, with some butternut noodles, like a stir fry, and some fruit as well. Again, keeping the carbs fairly low and fats, again, very minimal. And then I might have a few other similar smaller meals throughout the day until it gets to the fun part of the evening, when I get to go out and eat the foods that I want to eat. And I've saved myself maybe 1,500 calories to go out and eat a 3-course meal, because that's what I want to do. But at the same time, I don't want to overshoot my calories so much so that I'm just kind of way over my surplus and I'm pretty much in a state of putting on unwanted body fat. So saving that amount of calories gives me a bit of a buffer to work with, and if I go over, it's alright, I'm not going to stress about it, because I know that I've allowed myself a fair few calories and I've eaten a lot less earlier in that day. So it's almost like it almost makes it okay to eat those extra calories at night, because I've been so reserved earlier in the day. Some days I might even skip breakfast and just eat lunch and go on from there. Again, it's just creating that shorter window to eat food and consume a lot of it, because I know my meal out is going to be a high caloric meal. I don't go out and eat salads, it's not my thing. I like to eat proper meals and I like to enjoy my food. So I save a big amount of calories for that meal, and where it ends up, I might go a bit over, I might end up a little bit under, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't mind, because I know that I've tried to control my diet in other ways. The other thing I might do is throw in a cardio session either in that morning or the next morning, once I've got all that fuel in me. And so the cardio is just going to help offset the calories a bit more, create that deficit from that day, and also boost your appetite so you can eat and really enjoy that meal that evening. And sometimes I schedule in a big workout the following day. So it might be legs or back, where I hit big compound exercises like deadlifts or squats, which are really going to burn a lot of calories, but that energy is going to get used for something great. It's going to help fuel my workout and give me lots of energy to lift big weights. So that's pretty much how I manage my day-to-day life with going out and eating and enjoying food. So another question from Miss Gabriel White is, in your off season, does the weight gain affect you mentally? There's a few more questions, but we're going to start here. So when you're in an off season, which is pretty much a phase, if you're not competing, of gaining muscle and trying to gain size, you have to come to terms with putting on some weight, but you're going to have to come to terms that your body is going to increase in the size, the scales are going to go up if you want to gain muscle, because muscle weighs more than fat, and you have to see a correlation on the scales if you are actually gaining fat, if you're actually gaining muscle and you're in that caloric surplus. It takes a bit of time to get used to seeing your body change and accepting that you are losing some of that conditioning, some of those summer abs, but in the long term and the grand scheme of things, you have to be aware that this is a good thing for your body and for the goal of looking better each and every year. Sometimes it can take me up to 6 months to come to terms with gaining like 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds after being really lean. And it's something that actually takes time, and it takes time for you to accept yourself. You have to look in the mirror and be happy with what you see, even if it is a little bit softer than what you would hope to see. Let's be realistic here. You cannot walk around super lean, super shredded all day, every day, all year. You won't enjoy your life. You definitely won't be enjoying food out, and you'll just become a social recluse. I think I've talked about this before, where you're just not going to enjoy life living like that. And so learn to accept your body in a healthy body fat range that you can build muscle and maintain good health from. Now for me, that's anywhere between 10, 15, 17 pounds off my stage weight. So that's me being super, super lean. And I like to be in that range because I know I look good, I feel great, and I'm eating a ton of food, which for me is one of the big things that I like to do. I like to eat food. And when I eat in a caloric deficit, I'm not a happy person. I don't take it out on people, but inside, I'm not a happy person. So I like to get my body into that place where I'm eating a good amount of food, maintaining my health, looking good, and just feeling great all the time. And so it's definitely something that you have to face yourself and learn to accept your body, whatever stage you're at, whether you're getting leaner or you're getting bigger. Accept that this is part of the process. So another question, it's the final question from Gabriella, is how do you cope with fitting and planning everything into your day and not stressing over it? From your favorite twins, Misha Adams and Gabriella. So I think when you plan your day, sometimes it can be a little bit daunting. Sometimes you can become very stressed about what you have to eat, what you have to do, and it can be quite overwhelming, planning your food. So rather than waiting for the day to come to plan what you're going to eat, it might help starting the night before, knowing what's in the fridge, prepping the food and putting it into MyFitnessPal, or just having a food plan that you stick with which meets your caloric goals. By doing this, it takes away a lot of the thinking, because you don't want to have to think on the spot. Sometimes in the day you've probably got more important decisions to make than what you should be eating and how many grams of protein in this meal. So you want to try and plan that stuff before it comes about, especially not an hour before. You want to plan it really early in the day or the morning before. Pop it into your app, your tracking app, or stick it on the food planner that you use, and just cook the food and put it in Tupperware. And that will take away a lot of the process of thinking about what you should eat to fit your macros, or what you should eat because you can, and you've got the caloric allowance for it. Try to have a plan and leave a small amount of calories for those bits and bobs that might crop up in the day that you really fancy. You know, that bit of milk you want to add into your coffee, or that little square of chocolate that you want to eat with your coffee and on your break. Whatever it is, leave a little bit of calories in space of that, so you don't feel like you're going to overshoot your calories, and you don't feel stressed about eating something that you just really fancy. So always leave a little bit of calories for those enjoyable foods that make you feel happy. And generally, you just want to relax about the whole process. I think people are getting really caught up these days with really specific numbers and grams of proteins and carbs and fats, like so anal and so specific about it. Now, unless your goal is to get super lean, stage ready to compete, and I really suggest you don't stress about these little things. It's the bigger picture stuff. You know, hitting a caloric number is, you know, the big picture here. And anything that comes under it, the amount of protein you eat, the amount of fat you eat, yeah, try and eat to hit your caloric numbers. Don't stress about it and just cause your body more harm than good, because overthinking things and stressing about it can actually affect your goals even more than the amount of protein or fats you eat. Because if you're stressed about something, your body is going to struggle to work with you to lose weight or build muscle. So the lower you can keep your stress levels, the more likely you are going to be able to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. So relax a bit, guys. There's so many questions are coming into me about really specific things that, you know, what time should I have this supplement, and what is the best food for fat burning, and how many grams of fat should I eat with this meal. All these really detailed questions, when you need to get the overall picture right first, and worry about the little things later on, or don't worry about them at all. You know, focus on things that you can control and that you have an awareness of, and you are going to get forward and achieve the goals a lot quicker than stressing about these little things that make such an insignificant difference to changing your body. So plan the day before if you are a very active, busy person and you don't have time to think so much about food, or if you're someone who likes to kind of freestyle like me and, you know, eat as you go along, pop it into your food tracking app, have a think when you're going to eat next, and have some idea of what that food or what those foods are going to be in that meal, so you don't come to it and just grab the first thing you see from a supermarket. Have a bit of a plan, and then when you get to the end of the day, however many calories are left, try and fill it up with some goodness. Try and get those foods in that are going to satisfy you, provide your body with lots of good nutrients, and maybe something little to satisfy that sweet craving or whatever it is that you really fancy when you chill out in the evening. I hope that gives you guys a bit of insight into the way I approach nutrition and training, and I hope it helps you out. There's a few things in there that, as you can hear, I do personally, and they might work for you, they might not, but give them a try and let me know. Leave me a comment with how you find your diet and how your training is going, and if any of these things have helped you out from this video. If you want to get your questions answered, leave them in the comment box below, and I like to pick out some of the really good questions that I know will help many people. So drop your questions below, or send me a direct message, email me I'll put my email on the screen, and ask your questions and they will get answered. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys very soon.